Welcome to Retirement Key Radio with Abe Abish.
Abe, you work in financial services, so you certainly are paying attention to different numbers all day, every day. When it comes to my bank account, I probably log into that 3 or 4 times a day, and I don't know why. Am I alone in that?
No, you're not. I don't check mine 3 or 4 times a day, but I check mine at least once, and I try to go through all my accounts at least once just to make sure there's no
fraudulent,
crazy
charge.
activity.
Absolutely. It's the day and
Right.
age we live in, so I'm glad I'm not alone in being completely neurotic about that. But
No, that's normal. That's normal.
Okay.
In my opinion.
suppose you, Abe, or are you listening today, logged into your retirement accounts right now, and the screen showed your balance at 0. Talk about fear. Talk about anxiety. I would freak out beyond belief. And because of a technical issue, Abe, that is exactly what happened to some Fidelity customers recently. Now, thankfully, I want to be very clear. This was a false alarm, and the problem was fixed just a few hours later. But imagine the sheer terror those people must have felt when a bunch of zeros were on the bottom line of their statement. I cannot imagine. It's probably similar to how a lot of people felt when they opened their statements back in 2008. So if there is another dramatic decline in our accounts, courtesy of Wall Street, how would we survive that?
Well, hopefully, Kristen, we're getting in front of another 2008, if we ever have another 2008 again. But man, even a half of a 2008 would be awful, right? A down 20% right when you retire. That would be, for a lot of people, life-changing. So we just helped a couple that lives in Leesburg, Virginia, and this couple came in and said, you know what, Abe? He's 64, she's 58, and he's retiring at the end of this year. He's got a couple pensions. And he said, you know what, Abe? The last thing I want to have happen is for me to lose 20, 30, 40% of my hard-earned nest egg in 90 days, in a year, in 2 years, right when I'm retiring. I mean, that's the last thing that they want. So he's 64, she's 58. He's former military. He's got a Navy pension. He's got a FERS pension that's going to start as soon as he retires.
Okay.
He's got about $600,000 in his TSP, and she has about $400,000 in her 401k. So they have about $1 million with 2 pensions, 2 Social Security checks, a house that's paid off,
Nice.
and a good amount of cash. So they've done well, and they're in a good position.
Good for them.
But ironically, when a lot of people come into our office, they come into our office and they want to meet with us to reduce risk because they're taking on too much risk, right? We just recently had someone else come in and they were 91% in stocks. And this couple's in their 60s. 91% in stocks.
Aren't we supposed to get a little calmer about our investing when we get older?
That is just through the roof aggressive. Well, and they knew that, and that's why they came in. Well, this couple in Leesburg that I'm talking about, they're almost the other way around. And I like what he's tried to do inside his TSP, but you also will pay a price for being too safe. Let me explain. In his TSP, 70%, I found on his statement, 70% of his TSP balance is in the G fund. And in the G fund, although it's the safest, most conservative fund in the TSP as an option, in February of 2020, it's only paying 1.625%.
That is not much at all.
Less than 2%. That is less than the 30-year inflation average of 2.5%. So essentially, he's paying a real price for being too safe, too conservative. He's not keeping up with inflation. Certainly won't keep up enough to cover his RMDs down the road. And less than 2% on 70% of his money is just not good enough in our opinions. So we recommend taking that safe money, rolling it outside of the TSP into another safe strategy that can give him that protection, that downside protection that he's looking for, that safety with much higher upside potential, not just based on current interest rates like the G fund is. So that's a good example of someone coming in that's in their 60s, just about to retire, and we actually found out they're too safe. They're not taking on too much risk. They're just too safe with how they're investing.
I never would have thought that you would have come to the table with a story of where someone's taking too many precautions about the future, because I thought normally it was the other way around. People are typically quite aggressive and accidentally aggressive, like you mentioned.
Right. Heck, I mean, he could throw his money, Kristen, in a CD right now paying 2%. I think the highest paying 5-year CDs right now are around 2.2, 2.3. He could get more money than he could on his G fund, but those are not the types of yields and interests that we're looking for on our retirement planning monies. Maybe cash monies in the bank, but not retirement plan monies that we are dependent on for retirement income. So, this guy and his wife are not going to lose 40%. We're probably not going to lose 40% in the G fund, but they're being too safe, and that's going to cost them down the road. So that's one of the several ways that we have helped this couple in Leesburg to cross over the finish line into retirement.
And really, life is about balance in every aspect. It's no different when it comes to looking at how you're going to fund your financial future. And that's why Abe specifically, for almost 20 years, has been helping people nearing and in retirement with their wealth and making sure that, yes, you are seeking some calm options out there, if you will, so that you know you're going to have a certain amount of money coming in when those paychecks stop at work, but also making sure that you're not being so conservative that you're losing out. There is a fine line there. Find out more at retirementkeyradio.com. Abe, one of the major health issues we're dealing with today is Alzheimer's. In addition to the emotional toll that it takes, the disease is also incredibly expensive. Joanne Pike of the Alzheimer's Association tells C-SPAN that the disease can virtually wipe out your life savings.
The out-of-pocket costs really take a financial toll on families. The individual cost for a family over the lifetime of someone diagnosed with dementia is $350,000. Now, while some of that is covered by Medicare, some of that is out of pocket, and that is unsustainable without further advances in treatment or a cure.
The emotional toll is hard enough. Is there any way that we can financially prepare for something as devastating as Alzheimer's?
This rings true and to heart because I have an uncle that has dementia. I have a good family friend whose father is going through a pretty aggressive stage of dementia and Alzheimer's right now. So I feel for anyone whose family is going through this right now. But there are ways to protect our assets and our net worth and our resources from the probable need for care down the road, several different ways. Let me give you an example. This couple that we just talked about that lives in Leesburg, Virginia, he's 64, she's 58. He had 70% of his TSP in the G fund paying less than 2% interest right now. Not good enough, right?
Right.
We recommended rolling about $500,000 of the TSP out of the TSP into his own IRA, into a safe strategy that has downside protection, can give him that conservative type of investing and peace of mind that he's looking for with much higher upside growth potential. In addition, in this strategy, the strategy also offers a long-term care component, a long-term care home health care doubler, it's called, which would double his guaranteed income if he ever needed care in his home, in an adult daycare facility, or nursing home. So I'll give you the numbers. If he puts $550,000 into this strategy, he's 64 now, this strategy has a guarantee of 4% on the income base.
Okay.
And that income base, basically his pension money, grows to almost $700,000.
Wow. All right.
Well, $700,000 at 68 creates a little over $3,000 a month guaranteed for the rest of his life.
Right.
If he needs care, that $3,000 doubles to $6,000 a month for 5 years.
Wow.
So we've just basically leveraged his dollars. If he never needs the care, fine. But instead of paying $100 to $300, $400 a month for a standalone long-term care policy that we may or may not use, here's a great way to put money in a hybrid strategy that's giving this family the protection that they want, guaranteed income that they want, upside growth potential that they're looking for with leveraged long-term care benefits. And so that's one of many ways that we can help our clients and do help our clients to input and create long-term care benefits to help them out if they ever need the care.
Find out more at retirementkeyradio.com. Financial professionals are not licensed in all 50 states. To find out if Abraham Abish is licensed in your state, please call 571-577-9968. Abish Financial Services is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency and does not provide legal or tax advice. Annuity guarantees rely solely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing insurance company. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance and annuity products offered through Abraham Abish, NPM number 770-3575.